Now, 3,200 metres for this horse, Johnny. Is it going to be a problem, do you think?
I don't think it'll worry him. This horse has only run one bad race in his recent runs, and this was a very good run here. And this horse, I really think he's a Flemington horse. I don't think the 2 miles will worry him, the 3,200.
That's always aloof on the outside of him, by the way, in the blue colours, in second placing.
Yes, and Damien Oliver, he understands this horse perfectly. I can relate to Damien Oliver and this horse, and Damien Oliver and Doremus.
He wasn't knocked around in the concluding stages yesterday of the McKinnon. It was a pretty good Melbourne Cup trial, I thought, Rich.
Yeah, we were pleased with the way he got to the wire. He was he got back. He got into a little trouble about just after straightening, had to be stopped and started again. You can't do that in those big races. You've got to have the momentum up.
The last 20 metres, Rich, was the same, wasn't it? He got into a little bit of trouble on the leader's back, on the winner's back.
But he was getting home nicely, and we were quite pleased with the effort.
Is he an immature horse? Does he get upset by things because he breaks through the barrier in the Caulfield Cup? Did that, you know, maybe upset him a bit?
Well, you're quite right. There's quite a number of things can upset Marble Halls because he is a highly strung young horse. He will improve with age. I think he'll be a better horse next year, but he mightn't get in with the same weight. And so this year we've made it his target.
Jen, not surprisingly, you haven't been able to get a word in for the last 2 minutes. Do you want to say
I was just going to say, I watched him in the mounting yard yesterday, Marble Halls, and he looked fantastic.
Yeah, I think he's really improved since the Caulfield Cup. I think it's been, you know, a very good couple of weeks for Marble Halls, and you know, we expect him to run well.
Peter, just getting back to Marble Halls, I watched Marble Halls win in Brisbane with Lee Friedman in May, your brother, and Lee said to me,
you remember Lee, your brother?
You remember Lee, yeah. Well, he's working, you're the boss now.
He's a fat guy that comes to work every day.
He's the bloke. You got his strides on today, actually.
And his shoes.
But I watched the race in Brisbane when Damien won on him, and he should never have won that horse that day. But wasn't it? And Lee said to me, come and have a look at this race, and this was in May, the Adelaide Cup Carnival. We went and had a look at the race together, and Lee said, I'll win the Melbourne Cup with this horse in November. Now, that was back in May. I've watched the horse all the way through. He's going to be very hard to beat tomorrow.
He will be hard to beat.
On Tuesday.
Right.
Yes, on Tuesday.
Yeah, well, if he starts tomorrow, he's a certainty, isn't he?
Well, he'll get a decent head start on them, won't he?
I'll tell you what, if he starts tomorrow, I want to be on him.
Let's move on to Markham, which is number 16 in the Foster's Melbourne Cup, trained by one of the up-and-coming young men of the racing game, 28-year-old Cliff Brown at Narberthong. Mick Dittman is the rider, ideally drawn in barrier 7, 52.5 kilos, and his recent performances finishing with a last in the McKinnon, and he pulled pretty hard, Jen.
Yes, he did, although I thought it was a fairly good run. He got out into the worst part of the going, hooked out there in the straight, and he held his ground quite okay. Now, Cliff Brown, you know, he's a young trainer. I'd love to see him win it for him. I think it'd be fantastic. He's a South Australian Derby winner, this horse, and he's run the Caulfield Cup was pretty good too.
Yeah, he ran 4th in the Caulfield Cup.
So he's not badly weighted, and he's also got Mick Dittman on board too, which will help him along.
All right, let's go on to another horse which has form at 3,200 metres, and that is Scrupulous, number 17, which will be ridden by Michael Carson and trained by Jim Smith. Not well off at the gate at 19, 52.5 kilos, and there you can see his recent runs. Finished last in the lean cuisine, though. Pretty hard to have on that run, but he is an Adelaide Cup winner, Rich.
I think he's got the task ahead of him, Scrupulous. I don't think his form has been quite what it should have been to run in a race like this. I think he's a bit out of form, actually. And to come from barrier 19, that's a really tough ask. And, you know, I'll be very surprised if Scrupulous can win the race. 17
down, 5 to go. In the 1997 Foster's Melbourne Cup, we'll be back to take a look at the remaining runners after this break. Ebony Grove, after winning the McKinnon Stakes at Flemington yesterday. Welcome back to our special preview of the 1997 Foster's Melbourne Cup live around Australia and New Zealand. We're down to the last 5 runners, and we're going to have a look at number 18, Crying Game, trained by Angela Johnson. And this horse is well travelled. Greg Childs is the rider. Barrier number 8, 52 kilos. And taking a look at his recent performances, well, he is, of course, a Perth Cup winner, but it's hard to have him on his recent runs. Letty?
Oh, yes, Pete. I can't really see him figuring in the placings at all, this horse. His form's just tapered off, and unless something unforeseen happens, I can't see the horse figuring up there at all.
He'd be getting giddy, wouldn't he? He's been round that many times.
He has been round a few times. In fact, someone said he's been round more times than the Town Hall clock. Oh, the hands on it.
Who said that?
I don't know, but I wasn't going to dob him in because it was such a bad line. 19 is Yobro.
We're laughing.
Yes, on the inside. 19 Yobro. And let's have a look at the facts and figures surrounding this horse. I know Jenny Chapman gives him a bit of a chance in the race. Grant Cooksley is the rider. Wonder if he'll crack it for a smile if he does happen to win the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday. Catch your disease there. Let's see, Kirk Roberts, the trainer. Barrier number 3, 52 kilos. As we look at his recent runs, Jen, tell me why you give him a bit of a bolter's chance.
Well, he's the Auckland Cup winner. I think he's got a terrific chance. I thought he went very well in the Moonee Valley Cup as well, Pete. Nicely weighted there with 52 kilos and an experienced jockey on board, just as a roughie, not the worst.
Terrific chance.
Well, a terrific rough chance, let's put it that way.
A terrific rough chance. You want to add another one to that?
Yeah.
Is that like being slightly
really,
pregnant?
Yeah.
She's insane.
Not too bad.
You're stretching it. Yobro, you are stretching.
Just a
It's a
roughie.
leap.
There's
No.
worse.
No.
There's worse.
Well, there's worse.
Yes.
If Yobro wins the Melbourne Cup, we'll play this bit of tape to you on Tuesday. Let's go down to number 20, Bonsai Pipeline. And this horse, well, the trainer is well-travelled. Robert Thomas, originally from Barbados, now in New Zealand. Darren Gauci, the rider, barrier 13, 50.5 kilos. But his recent performances, well, the Perrier Stakes win was quite good. And then he couldn't get out of his own way in the Caulfield Cup, and 7th in the Werribee Cup was disappointing too. He's got 3,200 metre form. Let's have a look at that run in the Perrier Stakes at Caulfield, Rich.
Well, he won the race, but it was a bit of a hurdler's flat, this race. It's, you know, there was a lot of old stages in this. You know, the horse did a good job to win, but I really don't think this form is up to Melbourne Cup class form. He's won he's ran a couple of nice races in good quality events in New Zealand, but I can't see this horse troubling the good horses in the Melbourne Cup.
I must say, he strikes me as a grinder, just a horse that keeps on going at the one pace all the way. So the 3,200 metres, you know, when the others are getting tired, he might run past a few in the straight.
Oh, I doubt if he will, actually. I think he'll be catching the caps there at the back of the field. But, you know, stranger things have happened in a Melbourne Cup, but it'll shock me if he wins.
Have you been on the disagreement pills this morning?
Well, I just don't think horses like that, you know, have the class to win a Melbourne Cup anymore. The Melbourne Cup's a very classy race now.
It is indeed. Yeah, a lot of people saying that the class isn't there in the Melbourne Cup, but I think really, when
Very
you look
equal.
at the field,
Very
it is an equal field,
Very
but there is a
equal.
bit of class there.
But some are more equal than others.
Well, there's winners of Melbourne Cups in it. There's second place getters in Melbourne Cups, and there's place getters in Melbourne Cups everywhere. And some of these horses are very well performed horses. I'd say it was a very level race. I mean, you've got the bottom half sort of cut out of it, so we're only going to have 10 runners.
Well, that's what I think. I think there's only about 10 horses in the race with any chance.
Well, you might be right, Rich. Anyway, tomorrow, on Tuesday night, when we show that film back and Jenny's tipped the winner with Yobro, can I be
It's my,
there?
You can be there.
my terrific
I'll be there.
rough tip. That's what it is.
No, Jenny, you just say on Tuesday night if it wins. I declared that to you, Richard.
Have you finished now?
Yes.
Bart Cummings trains number 21, and that is Grand Master. And this horse, long way down in the weights, trained by Bart Cummings, as we said. Len Beasley is the rider. And he carries the colours that Saintly wore to victory in the Melbourne Cup last year. Second in the lean cuisine yesterday. And Johnny Letts, I don't know about this run. I thought he was disappointing in not being able to run down Backslapper, but you didn't think so?
I didn't think so, Pete, because here he looked like he was going to get Backslapper. He's got out there, and Backslapper's got the inside part of the track, and we did see the Derby winner do the same yesterday. He ducked in behind him there, and when Lenny Beasley's got working on, but he never gave up in the run of the line, this horse, and I just liked him as a grinding two-miler. And he was a 3-year-old last year, and he's 10 lengths behind, I think, Linesman. And this year he's a 4-year-old, and he's a nice age, a nice weight, and JB Cummings, he's one of my picks in the race.
No?
Can't do it.
Disappointing run.
I
That
agree
horse
with you.
should have got out and got the leader then. He had every chance. He had the soft run. He should have got out and won. And I think he's disappointing. I know he's named after the trainer, but, you know, I don't think the trainer can get this one there.
What did you think, Jen?
I thought it was a pretty good. I mean, he's a lightly raced type of horse, and I think there's more improvement to come from him. Of course, he's in the right hands with Bart Cummings. I don't know that he can do it in those 3 days, but I don't think he's the worst by any means.
I'm a bit with you. I agree with you that the horse ducked in behind the leader, but when he straightened him, he didn't get any closer, I don't think. It was only, you know, a half length, 3/4 of a length, and he couldn't get any closer than that.
But the leader and the winner had a nice, easy, cushy run in the lead, hadn't he? He was entitled to keep going.
Do you think Backslapper could win a Melbourne Cup?
I don't think so,
Not
but over
the
the 32, I think this horse can get 32, Rich. But I think if Backslapper had come off the fence, this horse had gone straight ahead, he'd have got within that far of Backslapper.
And that's good enough.
Well, I think it is for 2 miles on Tuesday, especially with the JB Cummings polish. And Bart wouldn't have run him yesterday if he didn't need the run.
When was the last time Bart had a horse that had a high saddlecloth number 21?
Number 21. Well,
intrigued
don't
about
start
that during the commercial break.
Don't start him on this.
All right, I won't
this could go on for hours.
Well, we won't start him and we'll go on to number 22, Sunny Lane. It's the last of the runners in the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday. Facts and figures surrounding Sunny Lane. Charlie Goggin is the trainer, Brett Preble the rider, a wide gate barrier 20, 49 kilos. Recent performances, Jen, not all that bad.
Not that bad, Pete, but look, she's the only mare in the race. She won the Werribee Cup at her last start. That was a nice effort there. I think she's a very competitive Country Cups mare, and that's it. I don't think she's up to him.
I think she's the only lightweight with a fluker's hope.
Yeah, I'd give her just a bit of a fluking hope in the race. Terrific rough chance, that's it.
He is contradicting himself. He gives Scrupulous no hope. Scrupulous beat at home last start. Now he gives us a good chance.
It's got less weight than Scrupulous.
You've beat me
See,
again.
I've got you again.
You've got me
I've got you again.
Yeah.
15, Love.
Thank you.
Okay.
And don't call me Love.
Let's go to a commercial break now and then we'll see if we can control this lot and get their selections on the Melbourne Cup in just a moment.
Struggling, tightly hit the lead in the Melbourne Cup. He drew a length in front of Nothing Like a Day in Count Shivers. Skyboy running on, tightly in front for Darren Friedman. Bart Cummings has got his 10th Melbourne Cup. Saintly's going to win the Melbourne Cup for Darren Friedman and Bart Cummings. Saintly first, second.
Wasn't that just fantastic, that shot of Saintly coming up the straight before 90,000 people at Flemington last year? Well, the Melbourne Cup just a couple of days away. What's the forecast going to be? We were lucky yesterday with the Derby Day weather, and the Bureau was saying that we're going to be okay on Tuesday. Isn't that a wonderful word? Fine. And round about 18 degrees for the Cup Day weather. Now, as far as the latest odds are concerned, we can show you the betting details as they stand at the moment. Count Shivers 50 to 1. Get involved, you three. I don't have to do all the work.
Well, I think Count Shivers is at his right price because 50 to 1 with that sort of weight, I think he's terribly harshly weighted.
Dareema's happy with 6 to 1 there?
Yeah, I think it's a good price. It'll be a lot shorter if it gets wet.
Might and Power probably justified at 4 to 1, Johnny?
I think he'll get out in the market, Peter.
Do you?
Do you?
Yes, I really do.
Ebony Grove 10 to 1 after his good win yesterday.
Good price, that.
Yes,
I
it's
reckon
not bad
that's,
at all.
That's good odds.
Arabian
He's the
Story.
horse that'll shorten up, I think, Ebony Groves.
Always aloof at 10 to 1 as we go over the page and take a look at the main chances there. Linesman an 8 to 1 chance for Gay Waterhouse, best of the second page, and Markham round about 12 to 1. Well, I think he'd be better odds than that after his run yesterday.
And the terrific Rough Hope there, Yobo, 40 to 1.
Peter, I think Marble Halls will tighten up from 10 to 1 too, and I think Grandmaster will come in a little bit from 20s.
Righto, let's get the tips, and ladies first. Jenny Chapman, your selections for the Melbourne Cup, Jen?
Well, I'm going to go with Always Aloof. I'm willing to forgive him for his last effort in the Caulfield Cup. His form prior to that was excellent, and I do think he'll stay the distance. So number 11, Always Aloof. For second, Might and Power, hard to go past him as well. And for third, Dareemus.
Richard Friedman.
Well, I'm going to stick with our stable. I think that Marble Halls is the one to beat. His run was good yesterday, and I really think he's the one to beat. I think Ebony Grove will run a great race, and the trial was perfect yesterday. And old Dareemus, you can't count him out. Great strong stayer. He'll be powering home.
And the best outside of Sunny Lane?
Sunny Lane at the long odds, but only a fluker's hope for a place.
Well, dual Melbourne Cup winning jockey, Johnny Letts. What do you think, Lettsy?
Well, I've been a Marble Halls fan all the year, but I've switched to Alpha, because I really think that Alpha, he didn't handle the Valley the other day in the Cox Plate. I do think that he'll get the 2 miles, the 3,200. JB Cummings, I think Alpha can beat Marble Halls, who I thought was an excellent run yesterday. It was a terrific cup trial. Grandmaster's my third pick. I liked his run yesterday. And Viale, I know he's only had a couple of runs this time in, but he's not here for nothing, Viale. I think he's got a good chance. So 11 Melbourne Cups for John Letts, for Bart Cummings, and I think it'll be another one for the Friedmans. And I think Dareemus will win. I think his lead-up form's been excellent. Might and Power, you can't leave him out on the Caulfield Cup run. Ebony Grove to run third. And Arabian Story might just be the roughie if he has acclimatised well. Well, thanks for your thoughts.
Look forward to seeing you on Tuesday.
Yes, can't wait.
Okay.
Peter,
Got a new suit.
what do you think the effect of the track is going to be on after yesterday's racing on Tuesday? I think the track should be spot on if we get a nice couple of days.
I think it should be okay, and let's hope so. We've got a lot to look forward to here on 10, plenty happening on Sunday Sport. NBL coming up, also we've got RPM, and don't forget to join us for the Foster's Melbourne Cup on Tuesday. We look forward to your company then. The race that stops a nation, our coverage begins at 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Saving Time. We'll look forward to seeing you then.